There's no such thing as an African immigrant in Africa. Africa is for Africans, those at home and those abroad. Africa is home to all Africans, those at home and those abroad. I am a Kenyan. When I step in South Africa, South Africa is my home. When I step in Nigeria, Nigeria is my home. When I step in DRC, in Gambia, in Lesotho, those are my homes because they're in Africa, and Africa is my home. Those at home and those abroad. Africa is home to Africans, those at home and those abroad, whether you like it or not. Let me say this very carefully to Afrophobic South Africans. I'm only talking to Afrophobic South Africans in this video. I am not talking to the South Africans that are not Afrophobic. I'm talking to the South Africans that are Afrophobic in this video. Let me say this. Today is June 30th. Let's say by tomorrow you chase away all so-called African immigrants. Chase them away to go back to Nigeria, Ghana, chase them away to go back to Zimbabwe, to Zambia, to Malawi, to wherever they came from in Africa. Let me say this. The South African economy will still remain the same. The unemployment rate will still remain the same. Because until you understand that the South African economy is apartheid by nature, that has never been decolonized, until the South African economy is decolonized from the apartheid nature of running the South African economy will forever serve the white people and the few black elites only. Let me repeat that again. Until you decolonize the South African economy, the South African economy will continue to serve the few black elites in South Africa, and will continue to serve the white people in South Africa. And it will continue to not serve, it will continue to not put the wealth in the hands of the common black South African. Until you understand that, you will never, ever, 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 ever solve the unemployment rate. You will never, ever, ever, ever fix the South African economy. Going for some few people who own some spaza shops and thinking that will do anything. Please do not be misled by people who may have or most likely have been paid by the government and by white people to redirect you away from them who are the source of the problem, the government and white supremacy in South Africa. And by the way, let me say this. This so-called African immigrants in Africa, there's no such thing as an African immigrant in Africa. Africa is for Africans, those at home and those abroad. Africa is home to all Africans, those at home and those abroad. I am a Kenyan. When I step in South Africa, South Africa is my home. When I step in Nigeria, Nigeria is my home. When I step in DRC, in Gambia, in Lesotho, those are my homes because they're in Africa, and Africa is my home. Those at home and those abroad. Africa is home to Africans, those at home and those abroad, whether you like it or not. It is still apartheid by nature. That is what I'm saying. It is still apartheid by nature. It is still apartheid by nature. And it needs to be decolonized fully so that it can serve the common black South African, so that it can put wealth in the hands of the common black South African, so that it can give jobs, quality, high-paying jobs to the common black South Africans. How? Number one, by value adding on your raw materials. It is 2026. We cannot, as Africa, and it's not only a South African issue, we cannot ship raw materials, please. We cannot ship our own raw materials to go and get processed somewhere outside of Africa, and then those Chinese or Americans or the Europeans sell the finished product at 100% markup to Africans. No, no. Whenever you export raw materials, Africa, please listen to me. Whenever you export raw materials, you're taking away jobs away from the African citizens. It is just as simple as that. South Africa, pressure your governments to start building manufacturing, to start industrializing fully South Africa, so that the value addition process can bring in jobs to millions and millions of South Africans. Industrialization, value addition is the key to end unemployment. Please, these are the things you should tell your government, not attacking spaza shops owners from Zimbabwe and from Malawi. No, it will not help you when you do that. It will not help you when you do that. Pressure your government or elect people who will block the cheap Chinese imports that are flooding the South African market. You can't tell me that South Africa cannot produce textiles, cannot produce clothes, cannot make their own clothes. Anything that China imports in South Africa can make. Again, those are jobs. Come on, guys. That's what I'm telling you. Focus on the fundamental things. Focus on the simple things. Focus on industrialization. Focus on banning imports of these cheap Chinese products and start making the things that the Chinese people are importing. There's nothing that these Chinese people are importing that South Africa cannot make. That's what you should focus on. Not beating up some spaza shops owners and some people and some Congolese people in the streets selling food, selling whatever they're selling so they can make some little money. Are you kidding me? Don't be misled. Do not be misled by these people who have been bought by the government and by white people to mislead you and to redirect you from the things that the government and these white people are doing. Please, please, please focus on the government. Please focus on white supremacy. Please focus on the decolonization of the South African economy. It is only that way that the South African economy will fully work in favor of the common black South African. I want to say one thing before I go. I want to say something profound that one of my favorite freedom fighters, I'm sure South Africans know her. She is the late Mama Nomzamo Madikizela Winifred Mandela. One of my favorite freedom fighters. She said something profound. You know, she did not like the way black people were negotiating with white people before South Africa was free from apartheid. She did not like the way they were doing the negotiations. She did not like the willing buyer, willing seller nonsense on our own land. She did not like the negotiations. And she said that if you guys continue to negotiate the way you're negotiating, you will give South Africans a dummy freedom. And the same problems that South Africans have now, they will protest about it a few years later. That's what she said. Go look it up. That's what she said. And look at South Africa now. And guess what? South Africa is not the only country that has a decolonization problem. South Africa is not the only country that did not decolonize. Immediately it got independence. Kenya, my own country, is the same. Uganda is the same. Tanzania, same. Congo, same. Nigeria, same. Ghana, same. Senegal, same. Ivory Coast, same. The whole of Africa, same. Most of our founding fathers did not decolonize from their former colonial structures, their former colonial way of running the economy, of running politics, of running social life, of running education, of running everything. And look at where we are right now. We are paying the price of our founding fathers not steering and not fostering the decolonization process. South Africa, you are not the only one. What am I saying? Africa will get its true freedom if we decolonize. Africa will get its true freedom if we decolonize our economy, number one, our politics, number two, our social life, number three, our education, number four, our religion, anything you can think about in Africa is colonized, and we need to decolonize it, and we need to create our own systems that only work for the common African people. If we don't decolonize, we will forever remain poor Africans. We will forever remain disorganized Africans. We will forever remain this everything, confused Africans. We will forever remain at the bottom of the bottom. Decolonization should be at the manifesto of every single presidential candidate in any African country. If decolonization is not in the manifesto of your presidential candidate, please don't vote for him. Please don't vote for her. That's my message today. Thank you.